What can we expect from Brian Laundries' family? Will they step up and help us to know where Brian might be? Will they even help us to understand what happened to Gabby Petito? And the answer to this is unfortunately no. All you can expect from Brian Laundries' family would be lies, denial, and if anything added to the situation, it's only going to be confusion. What we're looking at is the classic enabling family. Families where zero accountability exists, and families where narcissism is raised. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before we talk about the enabling family behind Brian Laundrie and behind all of narcissism, I want to let you know that I'm here for your support. Down in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar where you can schedule one-on-one time with me, and I look forward to talking with you. Now, one of the questions is what exactly does Brian's family even know? Well, they know an awful lot, right? Gabby and Brian both lived with Brian's parents for an extended period of time. And it's important to understand that with narcissistic abuse and any kind of tragic endings with domestic violence, it never goes from zero to tragic ending like that. Abuse is progressive. It ramps up, which means at some point in time, it starts with the name calling. It starts with the aggressive put downs and the demeaning, devaluing things. And as it looked in the body cam footage with Gabby, that had been going on for some time, which means Brian's family was a witness to all of that. They saw it. They know the dynamic of the relationship. But now we're going to get into understanding the enabling family, which denies, which lies, which pretends they don't see anything, they don't hear anything, they don't understand anything, and nothing's wrong. This is the enabling family. This is the family that raised Brian. This is the reason why Brian is running and hiding and taking zero accountability. And don't think the parents are any better in this situation because they're showing exactly why Brian's doing that. He was taught to do that. Run, hide, don't take any accountability. Why was he taught? Well, because look at what the parents are doing in this situation. They're doing the exact same thing. Running, hiding, behind an attorney, taking zero accountability, not helping Gabby Petito's parents out, not helping anybody find their own son. They're being quiet. Now, the mistake to think here is that they're doing this because they love their family and they love Brian so much. No, not necessarily. Those of you who have experienced toxic relationships or are in toxic relationships, many of you have walked away from those family dynamics, their family of origin, scratching your head saying, what in the world did I just witness? What is that? It's not love. They oftentimes compete and argue and fight. They develop tiers within their hierarchy of status. Golden children, scapegoats, they pin each other against each other at times. These families will eat their own young, so to speak. Why? Because love is absent. It's not about love in these narcissistic, dysfunctional families. What it's about is image and status. And now we're getting into the reason why they won't help out. It's not because they're even protecting Brian. The Laundrie family doesn't want to damage their own image in the situation, so they're keeping quiet. You watch this, even if Brian is found, the family will act like, well, they had no idea what Brian was ever doing. They don't know why they knew nothing about it. Anything to protect their own image first. And Brian was raised by this. So Brian, you can also expect, is going to do whatever he can to protect his image, even if he's found, right? How many of you think that Brian's going to admit to doing anything wrong, even if he's found? No. Here's what you can expect. Well, I don't know what happened. We were there and an acorn fell from the tree, hit Gabby right in the head. I saw it. A squirrel ran by and threw a rock and hit Gabby. I was there. He might even say space aliens came down and zapped her. And he got scared and ran away. Anything to get away from accountability. Now, this is a problem in these families that are enabling because they produce this zero accountability culture that we call narcissism that turns into narcissistic abuse. Now, the other aspect of this is the lack of love. Why would I say there's a lack of love? Well, I mean, you would think that a loving family would encourage you to do the right thing in life because they love you and want you to live a life where you make good decisions and protect yourself. A loving family would say, don't do that. You'll get caught, you'll get in trouble, and I don't want to see you in trouble because I love you. But they don't do that, right? Instead, do what you want. Failing to tell them there's consequences, that to me says there's a lack of love. If you fail to help people understand consequences in life, how can you possibly love them? So again, it's not about love in these toxic families. It's about image. The Laundrie family has taught their son Brian that image is everything, not love. So hide, lie, cheat, steal, do whatever you got to do, but protect your image. The family's doing the same thing. And this is why we can expect the Laundrie family to be of no help whatsoever in the situation. Not now, not even when they find Brian. And it's an unfortunate reality. Parents of narcissists typically are not necessarily abusive. It's a mistake to think that narcissistic people and abusive people come from violent backgrounds. It's not true. As a matter of fact, the opposite is true. People who come from the most violent of backgrounds oftentimes grow up to have a voice against violence. Do they not? Their desire and their passion is to bring awareness because they hate the violence and the bullying and the abuse they saw growing up. So we don't see that with narcissistic abuse. What we see is people who believe they can get away with anything. They show no remorse. They have no accountability. This is a result of never being taught or told or cared enough for to know that if you mess this up, you're going to push people who care for you away. And so as a result, narcissistic people grow up trying to bully their way through, demanding their way through, pushing everybody away, but then watch this, then they play the victim. F people for wanting to leave me, F people for not doing what I say. I was raised in a family where whatever I said went, right? It's not real love. If a family loves somebody, if your parents love you, they'll guide you and they will teach you. If you act up, you're going to drive people away. You're going to have consequences. It is so important for families to love each other enough to help them understand consequences. If you don't, then you let the person out there to suffer their own consequences in life. Right now, Brian Laundrie is a perfect example of someone who was left hung out to dry to experience the consequences in life because he came from a family that didn't necessarily care to, apparently. How do we know that they didn't care to have him accept consequences and accountability? Because they helped him. They probably told him to leave. So make no mistake about it. The other part that I want to share with you is that Brian did come home after Gabby was left behind. So yes, the parents know what took place. It is stupid to think that they don't. They know. Brian came in and said, bleh, diarrhea out of his mouth, most likely. This just happened. The parents probably instructed him, you need to attorney up, don't say anything, and go. Do they know where he went? Maybe, maybe not. But again, the reason for the running and hiding and not saying anything is about image. They just want to protect their own image. Even if Brian is found, you'll notice they may not necessarily fight for him. They'll do what they can to protect their image. So they might go into even more denial. I can't believe my son would do that. We had no idea. We don't know what got into. This is typical of toxic families that raise up narcissists. Again, they will eat their own. It's all about image. Very head scratching. But expect lies, denial, and a lot of confusion from the Laundrie family. You will not get straightforward answers from them. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar, one-on-one appointments, FaceTime, WhatsApp, video calls, telephone calls are available, text messaging is also available. Monday night is where we live chat, where we talk in a chat in a community. You could even call in, talk for free. Also, in addition to that, Saturday morning is where we fellowship an in-depth Bible study pertaining to this world of narcissism. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on The Royal We.